Hello, my friends. So today we are going to be drawing a turtle, a sea turtle, and we will be adding texture to his shell. So last week we did our texture practice. You should have filled in all 4 shapes with different textures. We talked about a texture plate and how you can use that to make this texture on your paper. So you're going to use the white paper that was inside of your little goodie bag, your art goodie bag, and we are going to create the back shell of our turtle. And then next week we're going to be using the techniques that we learned last week and adding lots of different textures to our turtles. We're making texture turtles, which is kind of a play on words. So you're going to need for today your pencil and something to outline with. You can use a black crayon, a black colored pencil, a black marker, whatever you have. I'm going to be drawing with Sharpie just because if I draw with pencil, it is very hard for you to see my lines. So I want you to follow along with me. So we're going to start by drawing his body. Now I want to make sure I don't draw an itty bitty tiny baby turtle because then we won't be able to add its texture. So we want to use a lot of our paper, but we want to save enough room for his arms and legs. So I'm going to start about here, and what I'm going to do is like a big U shape. Okay, so I'm going to start all the way over here, and I'm going to do a big U. Look how big that is on my paper. That's pretty large. Then I'm going to connect to the top by a curved line like this. So he shouldn't really have any pointy sides. Next, we're going to make an upside down U to create his head in the center. So now what I'm going to do is his front legs, and they're both going to come out this way. So this one is going to be sort of like a V shape that starts near his head, over just a little bit. It's going to go this way. It's going to come back down this way. Like that. I'm going to kind of create that shape underneath it. I'm going to go that way at a diagonal, and I'm going to go connect this kind of round like that. I did a curved line that connects that. We're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to go up, and we're going to try and keep it symmetrical, which means the same on both sides. Back down at a diagonal, kind of the same thing. Scooch over a little, go up, and connect with a curved line. If they're not totally perfect, that is okay. We are learning artists. Next, we got to give him some of his back legs, and so those are kind of like rounded shapes, but they kind of are a little more pointed. So I'm going to come down like this, back up, go down like that, and come back up. Try to make it the same on both sides again. And then you give him a little tail. Awesome. Next, we got to create the border of his shell. So on the inside of his shell, I'm basically going to draw the same line, just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go over, down, around, and back up. So it's a little border. It's like making a smaller shell in the center. Then in the center of that, I'm going to draw 4 horizontal lines. Horizontal means from side to side. So in the center, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 down his back. So they're kind of skinny. So I'm going to connect those with V shapes on the side. And it's going to make a hexagon. V, V. See that? And do that down again. V, and one more time. V, V. Now, from all of these points that were made, we can draw lines that come out to connect to the edges of the shell. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to do a diagonal this way that touches, and once it touches my little border, I stop. Same with this one. Stop when you touch your border. This one's going to come straight out. This one's going to come straight out. Now it's making new shapes. I'm going to do that at the bottom. Diagonal, diagonal. Straight out, straight out, straight out. Go. This is starting to look really nice. And then in the border area around the shell, we're going to just add some little lines for some details. So I'm going to make them like a C shape all the way around. Just do a couple of C shapes that connect the border around. Sometimes it helps to turn your paper to make sure you're doing C shapes. Space them out however you need to. If you'd like to give him a little face, you can add some eyes because his mouth would be underneath. And you are done! I hope you had fun, and next week you're going to need all of your textures, so think about areas in your house that you can use for your texture. And we will add textures to our turtles next week. Have a good week!